I'm already there, already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there, I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm going deep, I'm going deep to feel the infinite. I'm going deep to know the divine. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. Already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. Rising up, I'm rising up to feel the infinite. I'm rising up to know the divine. I'm rising up to feel the infinite. Yes, forever is already mine. Yeah, I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm rising up. Oh, I'm already home already. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. Thank you. Give yourselves a big hand. Let's go right into our next song, Spirit Loves to Dance. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. Extra beautiful this morning you all are. And the song we're about to do is by Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin, who will be visiting us next weekend in person. This is a call and response song. So I will lead the first line. Jewel will sing along, so you follow with Jewel. And it's called Spirit Loves to Dance. Here we go. Eyes shine, feet dance, hearts sing, when given a chance, Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance. That's it. Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance. You get the idea? Eyes shine, feet dance, hearts sing, when given a chance. Come on, let's do the dancing. Spirit loves to dance. You can stand up if you want to. Spirit loves to dance. Spirit loves to dance. Stars shine, leaves dance, love sings, yes it does, when given a chance. Here we go. Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance. Yeah, Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance. Yes, eyes shine, feet dance, gotta do my dance. Hearts sing, when given a chance. Here we go. Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance. One more time. Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance, Spirit loves to dance. Yes! Thank you.
Jan and JD are the best, cream of the crop, so please come to their workshop next week.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
You guys are beautiful on this little bit of foggy day. You're here at Unity to raise your spirits and raise your energy. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Linda Stevens, and it's my joy and my honor to be a part of your service this morning. Please join me and turn to our friends at home. We know you're there. We appreciate you. And thank you for being with us today. We feel your energy and know your love is here. Thank you. Now, if you'll take a second to turn off your cell phones. I know I try to remember that before I get here, but sometimes I don't. So we just take that second to remember. And please welcome back our featured musicians, the Traveling Voice and the Sounds of Joy. We really love it that you guys get to come ever so often, so thank you for being back with us. Thank you, thank you. And also a big thank you to Tyler and Julie, and Dave and Brian and Larry, who help us with our opening music and music throughout the service. Thank you. Ron Salazar will be leading our meditation this morning, and we have a very, very special guest with us. Greg Lavoie will be our speaker this morning, and Greg is the author of Callings, Finding and Following an Authentic Life. It's rated among the top 20 publications and vital signs, discovering and sustaining your passion for life. Greg has presented at Unity conventions, the Smithsonian Institute, Environmental Protection Agency, Microsoft, numerous others, and has been a frequent guest of the media, including ABC TV, CNN, NPR, and PBS. And I hate to tell you this, but all of his books have already sold out of our bookstore. Isn't that a tough problem to have? That just means all we have to go into the bookstore and order it from Shonda. So I would like to introduce to you Greg Lavoie, who will be teaching a workshop this afternoon at 2 o'clock. So run out and get a bite to eat and scurry back here because it's going to start promptly at 2. Hi, Greg. Thank you for being here. Let's give Greg a hand. Thank you. So let's kind of settle in and be present. It's kind of fun to think about all the things of the outside, and let's bring our attention back to Unity right now. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Our mission at Unity Center of Walnut Creek is, in a loving community, we empower spiritual growth by modeling and teaching universal spiritual principles. Please affirm with me our statement of faith that will show up on the screen. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And I encourage you to close your eyes and go into that space that you and Spirit talk to each other. And let's affirm that one more time. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. And now, as we come back into the center, if you're here for the very first time, or even if you've been gone a long time and you come back, because we have people who kind of recirculate, and it is so nice that they go away for a while and then they come back to Unity. We have a packet of welcome information that we would like to give you. There's also a connection card in that pocket. Please take it to our bookstore for an additional gift of a wooden necklace that's made by one of our congregants. So if you would raise your hand, if you're here for the first time, we have one back over here by Mike, and one on the back row back here, Pam. So just keep your hand up. She won't until she gives you the packet. And then one up here. Oh, several up here, Pam. Yes. It looks like we're out of them in the sanctuary. So if you don't get one in here, please go to the bookstore after service, and we will definitely have them there for you. We have more. So if you raise your hand again, and if you didn't raise your hand, you can still go to the bookstore. Yes, and 2 more up here, Mike. All right. Now the connection cards are available for everybody else. Please take a second to fill yours out to let us know that you were here. If you have a question or anything you want us to know, and you ask for someone to get back to you, we'll do it during normal business hours during the week. Did we get everybody having a packet of welcome information? Looks like we did. Fantastic. Thank you. Now it's time to tell our neighbors good morning. So if you'll stand up and greet your neighbors, that'll be great. Thank you.
Sing about the power of God. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. You do know it. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Love, the love of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The love of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The love of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The love of God is within me. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Light, the light of God is within me. Let your light shine. I know. The light of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The light of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The light of God is within me. Yes, I know. Yes. Let's get that power back. You have it. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Know it. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was fantastic. A little energy in the room. My name is Carl Jansen, and I have a few announcements for you today. If you didn't get a chance last week to complete this yellow little survey, it has a chance to vote for your suggested times for church services on one side, and it has some feedback for the board and for the church on the other side. I encourage you, they're available at the door. Pam's waving them. Please fill one out. Today is the second meeting of our new writers workshop. This is a great place where you and experienced writers can support each other in the writing process. So please join us right after the 11:30 service. It'll be in some room across the way. I'm not sure which one. It won't be upstairs. And a reminder once again, even though it was announced already, at 2 o'clock today, you can join Greg Lavoie for a workshop right here in the sanctuary. So as Linda said, grab a quick bite and be back by 2. And so how would you like to learn cut through and end those limiting patterns in your life? We have a new time for these. We've switched it to a different time. So join us on this Wednesday at 7 o'clock for a cut-through experience. And please note that we have moved this to the 3rd Wednesday of each month. I think it used to be the 2nd or a different one, but now it's going to be the 3rd. So please take a close look in your bulletin today for further details on these activities. And now I'd like to invite Tyler to the lectern.
Oh, I get the white mic. Okay, thank you, Carl. So you guys heard that song that we did, A Spirit Loves to Dance, at the beginning. How many of you also recognize, I dreamed of rain and the rains came? It's beautiful, right? Both of those written by Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin, and lots more that we all know and love. So we have a treat. They are coming to be with us next weekend. And it's not just for Sunday music. There's also a fabulous workshop, and they made a little video for us. So let's let them tell you what's coming.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody at Walnut Creek.
Beautiful people.
My name is J.D. Martin.
And I'm Jan Garrett. And we're going to be coming to see you guys and be with you for the whole weekend, March 24th and 25th. We're doing the special music, right, on the Sunday morning, which is Palm Sunday. But the day before, on Saturday, we're offering a special workshop from 10 to 1. It's a singing workshop. But if you don't think you're a great singer, it doesn't matter. Just come anyway. It's all about being in the heart. We do these beautiful exercises to get in the body so that we can all be instruments for that divine love intelligence to flow through. You're going to love it. Please join us. It is fun. And please join us. And really it's all about, no matter what's happening in your life, love wins. Love wins. Love wins. All is well in the end. Love wins. Perfect. We'll see you guys 24th and 25th of March. Bye-bye.
Aren't they cute? So what they didn't say is that today's the last day to get your advance ticket for that workshop, which is a $10 discount off the door price. So come see us at the table outside. Thanks.
That good? No? Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Good? Okay. So, good morning. Good morning. My name is Terry Curtin, and I'm your prayer chaplain for today. So, the daily word for today is world peace. Divine passion flows from me as peaceful action. The role of a peacemaker is not limited to heads of state religious leaders or professional mediators. I too am a peacemaker. Every day I have opportunity to develop and maintain harmonious relationships and to contribute to peaceful solutions to the world by how I show up. When challenges arise, I consider what actions or words will benefit all who are involved. As I allow divine passion to flow from me as peaceful action, I become the peacemaking leader I seek. I fairly sigil with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the thing that ought to be done by me. Charles Fillmore, co-founder, at age 94. And so it is. Amen.
Can you hear me? Cool, okay. So we're going to become present. So just take everything off your laps and put your feet on the ground. And if you wish, you can close your eyes. And just go within and know that you are one with the divine goodness that is our universe. And as you have your eyes closed and are present, visualize a white light, a warm white light flowing from your heart and flowing through your body, through your torso and your arms and your legs, and know this white light to be the light of love and peace. That is you. That is one with you. And as you are glowing within this white light, know that within this white light is your passion for your love, your passion for yourself, your passion for your loved ones, and your passion for the purpose of your life. And as we move into the silence, understand that this is who you are. There is no separation from your love and your passion. It is who you are. It is your purpose of being here, to share it with yourself and to everyone else. So please take that with you as you move into the silence. Be still and know that you are God. Be still and know that you are God.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. 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 Peace within my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace within my mind, God and only God I live to see. Peace within my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace within my mind, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om.
still and know that you are God. Be still. And as we move back into the sanctuary, please take with you and know that you are divine love. You are divine purpose. And you are divine passion. Your passion is one with the oneness. And take this with you through the day. And so it is.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. 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 God has not promised me sunshine. That's not the way to be, but a little rain mixed with God's sunshine, a little pain makes us appreciate the good times. Grateful. Grateful. God desires to feel your longings, every pain that you feel. God feels them just like you, but He can't afford to let you feel only good. That way you can appreciate the good times. Just be grateful.
Be grateful.
Because there's someone else that's much worse off than you. Be grateful.
Be grateful.
Because there's somebody else who'd love to be in your shoes. Be grateful.
Be grateful.
Oh, my God said He would never forsake me. Be grateful.
Be grateful.
Oh, yeah. My God said He'd never ever forsake me. Be grateful.
Be grateful.
Oh, be grateful.
Be grateful.
Be grateful. Yeah. Hallelujah. Be grateful.
Be grateful.
Oh, yes. Be grateful.
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 Grateful. Be grateful. For it will be alright.
Good morning. Are we on? There we are. Once again, thank you guys so much for the music. Just beautiful. All right, I think I'm going to jump right in. In the acknowledgments page of a book I wrote called Vital Signs, the last but not least entry is an acknowledgement of my mother for being a consummate role model in living a passionate life, and for always giving me lots of material to write about. But there's a postscript to this acknowledgement that I want to share because it has everything to do with my personal interest in the subject of passion. And that is that in the last 20 or more years of my mom's life, starting roughly in her early 60s, her get up and go, as they say, got up and went. All right? Her life force, her mojo, her vitality, her spark. I think it was a combination of a certain amount of neglect and a certain amount of the law of entropy. All right? And what that tells us is that systems tend to lose energy over time unless you pump more energy into the system. All right? So a hot cup of coffee is going to cool down unless you reheat it. Right? Clock is going to wind down unless you rewind it. Oatmeal is going to congeal if you stop stirring it. All right? As will marriages. And my mother just quit stirring the oatmeal. She just slowly opted out of active engagement in life, which is really what I think passion is ultimately about. And not just a passion, but passion as a skill, all right, as a mindset, a stance that you take toward life, okay? So what clued me into this was a conversation that she and I had just a few years ago. She had been at loose ends for at least 20 years about how to spend her time since retiring from being a stockbroker on Wall Street. And one afternoon, very uncharacteristically, she asked me what I thought she should do with her time. All right? So I made suggestions. I said, well, what about taking some art classes? She said, oh, I did that already. I mean, as if art is something you do once and check off a list. I said, how about one of those music appreciation courses at the university that'll take you on field trips to the symphony and the opera, because she wasn't driving anymore. And she said, oh, those are for old people. She's like in her 80s at this point. I said, what about a trip? I know you can't do the adventure travel anymore, but how about barge trip in Provence or a cruise up the Inside Passage or something like that? At least you'll get out of Dodge. And she just said, nah. How about volunteering with SCORE? You know, this Service Corps of Retired Executives National Mentoring Program. I said, you have so much incredible experience that you could be passing along to people coming up through the ranks behind you. What about that? And to which she remarked, oh, please, volunteering? She actually said, that counts for absolutely nothing on a resume. And, you know, I mean, what would you say? I said, Mom, you're 82 years old. Are you still building your resume? Wow. I mean, you still climbing the corporate ladder? Not that you should ever give up the good fight, but seriously. And what I realized in that moment was that I had to give up my good fight. All right, this is the one where I had, as I had for 20 years, more than 20 years before that, where I was trying to encourage her, inspire her, cajole her, nag her to take on some new challenges, to make some new friends, to get out of the house, submit herself to some of the deeper calls that come in this later phase of life. Just to re-engage with the world and come back to life after what I perceived to be the dual demotivators of retirement and a second divorce. Or she put it at one point, nobody to do it for anymore, which is a really revealing comment. Nobody to do it. And maybe a lot of people have this experience, maybe especially at retirement, that you realize you have a radioactive core of depression inside of you that was just being held in check all of those years by, you know, the cooling towers of busy lives, okay? And when those busy lives stop or even slow down, the depression comes to the fore, all right? Maybe a lot of people discover this. So my mother just lost the will to participate, to explore, to create, and to contribute, especially. All right? She just stopped investing herself in life, stopped investing in herself, which is a pretty strange thing to say about a stockbroker. You know, she just, and as it turns out, and I learned the hard way, you cannot make somebody do that. Right? You cannot undo the spells that people put on themselves. Even if you're Mr. Callings and your own mother's throwing your game all off. You know? So I wondered, of course, how does this happen? How does it happen that people lose their appetite for being in the game? All right? Even people with a lot of life force. How does passion turn into dispassion and boredom and resignation and just time being torn off the calendar unused? And of course, how do you stop the slide? All right? So I know this. I know that passion comes and goes. You know, it comes and goes. There's no such thing as a life of passion any more than there's a perpetual motion object. You know, it's a sine wave. It comes and goes, and we have to ride it out to some degree, and occasionally, of course, reboot. All right? I also know that life is perfectly capable of knocking the stuffing out of people. You know, again, even really strong people, with all of its demands and its disappointments and its numbing routines. And if you're one of those people that's just trying to keep your chin above water, you know, just trying to get by day to day to day, maybe it's asking a lot to also kick up your heels. You know? How many of you guys have seen a movie, the movie Dead Poets Society? Ring a bell? So you'll recognize this. I actually heard somebody say this. She said, "I have a Carpe Diem mug. And truthfully, at 6 a.m., the words do not make me want to seize the day. She said, they make me want to slap a dead poet." So, there's that. And I know that there's a clue in there when she says there's nobody to do it for anymore. Because psychologists talk about what they call primary and secondary motivation. All right? Primary motivation means you're doing something because you love it. Whatever it is, in whatever arena. You're doing it for the charge of it, for the challenge of it. All right? Secondary motivation is you're doing it for a payoff. All right? A paycheck, or power, sex, influence, fame, whatever. And there's a pretty simple test to determine which one of those two is in the driver's seat, and that is that if and when the payoffs dry up, do you still do the work? Right? Are your passions still intact? All right? My point is that it's occasionally tragically easy to let our vitalities just slip away, to lose our sense of enthusiasm, our sense of energy, to say nothing of purpose and direction. And in any arena, all right, vocational, but also relational and creative and spiritual, just to lose our sense of wonder, all right, our sense of wildness, adventure, novelty, discovery, self-expression, right? To just let them slide into disuse or get siphoned from us by just all manner of downward pulling forces that are just simply part of life. Stress, boredom, fear, routines, responsibilities, to say nothing of things like a great recession and living in a code orange world. You know? It's actually a phrase I pick up in the airports. We're on code orange. All right? You know, I mean, it's no wonder people want to batten their hatches. In fact, it strikes me sometimes that life is so full of deterrence to passion and energy and enthusiasm and self-expression and authenticity that what we casually refer to as normal behavior is really a state of arrested development. It's just so pervasive we don't even notice it. Like I'm in the grave, the cemetery around the corner from my house recently, and I notice a gravestone for a W.C. Stradley, and his epitaph said, "He lived a spotless life, a triumphant death." And I sat in front of it for a really long time, just, a spotless life? I mean, I would much rather have this the other way around. You know, a triumphant life, a spotless death. This works for me. I'm just saying that a spotless life, my God, this does not strike me as something to aspire to. You know, I think if we don't leave this life with a few good grass stains on our pants, you know, and a few really good stories to tell about our skirmishes with the 7 deadlies, we've missed the boat. If not the point, which is not to rise above it all, not to wear our Sunday best all week. It's to sink your teeth into it. Just let it drip down your chin. You know? Here, this will scandalize some of you. I've got a friend who's got a poster on the wall in her kitchen that shows a picture of a woman down on her hands and knees scrubbing out a bathtub. Okay? And the caption says, "A clean house is the sign of a wasted life." In which case I'm doing great. So here's a few things I want to share with you about how to get it back. To whatever degree you may feel that you've lost a sense of your energies and your vitalities and your life force. And number one, passion can, in fact, be cultivated. Okay, it can be turned on as well as off. This is not one from the either you've got it or you don't department. Okay, and I think that the cultivation of it happens most readily at the level of the gesture, the moment, you know, the decision, the spontaneous action, not the 5-year plan, the extreme makeover. You know, I think that's really where it happens. I had a conversation with a bunch of friends one evening not too long ago, and at one point, one of the guys said, "You know what the problem is? We're not outrageous enough." And I said, "So what would you do if you were going to be more outrageous?" And he thought for a moment, and then he reached up and he swept his hair from middle parted and slicked back to side parted with a cowlick dangling over his forehead. I mean, just like instantly transformed him from Richard to Ricardo. You know, PhD to matinee idol. And he said, "I would come into work like this." And I love that, because I think that what he's getting at, and what I try to get at, say in my workshops, is what we're looking for is the subtlest impulse to express yourself and act on your passions and your authenticities and your intensities. The subtlest impulses to do that. So what we're looking at, and build on that, of course, but what you're looking for is little switches in the course of any given day, little moments of choice that will take you either toward or away from your sense of aliveness. All right? So that's number one. Number two, passion is in the risk. All right? I think passion is in the risk, meaning the willingness to step from the sidelines onto the playing field. So the act of courage itself, even one step beyond the familiar, will typically kickstart it. All right? How many of you guys have ever seen a movie called We Bought a Zoo? Does that ring a bell? We Bought a Zoo? So this is apparently based on a true story about a family that bought a zoo, okay? And in the movie version of this, the protagonist, who's played by Matt Damon, says to one of the other characters at some point, all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage, and I promise you something great will come of it. Isn't that fascinating? 20 seconds of insane courage. All right? So, as opposed to the New Yorker cartoon that I saw recently, it's a picture of a man standing over his cat, and there's a litter box over here, and he says, don't ever, ever think outside the box. As opposed to that. So, my point is that the horse and cart equation is not necessarily that you identify a passion or a path and then start taking risks on its behalf. But sometimes by taking risks, by stepping beyond the comfort zone a little bit, you begin to clarify what they even are. Okay? I did a consultation with a guy 2 years ago who said in the consultation that he was waiting for absolute clarity before he would act on this something. Absolute clarity? Wow. I mean, so here's a guy who's waiting for all his proverbial ducks to be lined up, which I think happens roughly around the same time the cows come home, you know? And I said to him, I said, maybe the kind of clarity you seem intent on finding, you might only find by taking action. You know what I'm saying? You might. So, and risk, of course, by the way, is utterly relative. This is not a comparison game. Risk is what scares you. Okay? And it's not necessarily the big scary stuff like jumping out of airplanes or, you know, traveling the world solo or starting up a new enterprise or something like that. Much closer to home. Like, take your jokes or your poems to open mic night. You know, be the first to make up after a quarrel. Okay? That's risk. Make love with the lights on or your eyes open. You know, when somebody asks you how you're doing, tell them how you're really doing. You know? You don't have to make a federal case out of it, but be honest. Tell them how you're really feeling. That's a risk. All right? Say yes to something you habitually say no to. Right? Or say no to something you've been putting up with for too long. You know, say no to something you've been putting up with. Or bundle some novelty into your days. Because novelty is a corrective. And by the way, people who study this stuff seem to find that those who tend to thrive the most over the course of their life tend to score high in novelty seeking. Okay? But, and start small. You know, get up on the other side of the bed than the one you always get up on in the morning, right? Or sit at a different side of the breakfast table than the one you always sit at. Don't you always sit in the same place, pretty much? A quarter turn to the left or the right and the whole view changes, right? That's novelty. Drive to work a slightly different route than the one you always take. Order something other than your usual at the restaurant. Buy something you've never bought before at the grocery store. Just rearrange a piece of furniture in your house. You know, just shake it up just a little bit. All right? You know the name Abraham Maslow? Does that ring a bell? He's the guy who, among other things, many other things, he's a psychologist. He gave us the hierarchy of needs. It's a pyramid of human needs, the bottom of which was food, clothing, and shelter, and then belonging to a tribe, etc. At the very top was what he called self-actualization. Okay? And so he's the guy who coined the term self-actualization and one of the founders of the human potential movement. Maslow himself said that self-actualization, people who tend to self-actualize, meaning fulfill their potential, tend to make the growth choice over the fear choice every day. The growth choice over the fear choice. So that's a bar set pretty high. Reminds me of a conversation I had with a mentor of mine over lunch. I was telling him I was terrified of failing at an enterprise, which was quitting my job to be a freelance writer. All right? And I said, I'm scared I'm going to fail at it. And his reaction to that was, Greg, if you are not failing regularly, you're living so far below your potential that you're failing anyway. Which explains why I had lunch with this guy maybe once a year. I mean, there's mentors, and then there's tormentors. Which is actually a good thing, because all that really means is somebody who's not afraid of making fun of the king or the queen, you know. They don't mind running tire tracks across your nice, neat suburban lawn. But these are good people, because they're not, you know, they're not just going to coddle you, they're going to push you out of the nest. And this is important. These are important people to cultivate. Number 3, passion is not just exuberance. It's endurance. All right? Sometimes shoulder to the wheel, stamina, patience on the order of years. All right? Because if your creative inspirations, or even your infatuations, aren't balanced by good long hours at the workbench, they're not going to come to fruition as a rule. You know who Malcolm Gladwell is? Who wrote the book Tipping Point. I think it was in a book of his called Outliers, where he said that mastery in any field of endeavor requires a minimum of 10,000 hours of dedicated practice. Yeah. So here's the math on that. 90 minutes a day for 20 years. Or some variation. And you know, most people would rather just like, I just want to skip ahead to the part where I'm awesome. 10,000 hours. So how many of you have ever performed in a play? Show of hands. Performed in a play? So out of 100%, what percentage of your time was spent rehearsing compared to performing? Ballpark. 90-10, does that sound? 80-90, right. Same thing with performing in a band, right? But I think it's largely passion that explains people's willingness to put up with that equation. Practice the same lines, the same lyrics, the same chords for thousands of hours. I'm a lefty, I didn't do that right, it's this way. You know, for thousands of hours, for the chance to go public with it a tenth of the time, that is passion, in my opinion, that does that. I remember, you remember the Calvin and Hobbes? The cartoon Calvin and Hobbes. I remember one that I had on my bulletin board for a while. It was a picture of Calvin being, you know, and Calvin's like a 7-year-old kid or something. And he's being woken up for his second day of kindergarten. His mother shakes him, wakes him up, he rolls over and he groans and he looks at her and says, "What, again?" So, yeah, passion has real staying power, in my opinion. We tend to think of it as a very, very kind of inherently unstable element. You know, it's like you go to the periodic chart and you find passion prone to degrading quickly when exposed to commitment or familiarity. But, you know, it's like we think of it like a booster rocket in the space program. It's going to launch you into outer space, but once the orbit's reached, it's going to fall away. That has not been my experience or my observation, right? It has tremendous, in fact, one of my very first heroes in life was Scheherazade. Remember Scheherazade? She's the queen whose stories make up all the Arabian Nights. So it took her 1,001 nights to turn the Sultan around, right? That's 3 years. That's staying power, all right? The passion to tell stories, the passion to save her life, her own life, all right? And I've got an acquaintance who told me years ago that he was once arrested at an anti-war sit-in and given a suspended sentence with 15 hours of community service. Okay? And the judge said to him, "You can do any kind of service you want." So when they let him out, he went right back to the sit-in. And he said, "I was doing community service when they arrested me." You know, and I just love that. I think that's brilliant. And finally, number 4, if we lack passion in our own lives, or for our own lives, our other relationships are going to be denied that energy. Our partnerships, our children, grandchildren, our students, our congregants, our whatever communities we belong to, our colleagues, are going to be denied that energy because passion breeds passion, all right? And disinterest breeds disinterest, all right? And starting with the one-on-one, because one person following their sense of vitality can have a profound effect on the unfolding of other people's. And especially if you are in any position of leadership or stewardship. All right? By which I mean whether you're a parent, a teacher, a mentor, a minister, a manager, a coach, a counselor, a CEO, a politician. Your passion is critical to their engagement. This is, I'm sure, why when I headed off to college, my dad's advice to me was don't take courses, take professors. I'm sure that's why he said that. You know, take professors. And you know, the mechanics of inspiration work as readily at the collective level as they do at the interpersonal level, right? The Gallup Company, for instance, came out with a study, maybe some of you are familiar with this, 2012. Worldwide survey, 142 countries. They found that on average, 80% of workers are either not engaged or actively disengaged. Worldwide. It's a little bit better in the United States, but not as much as you might think. 80% not engaged or actively disengaged. Not engaged means you're checked out. Okay? Actively disengaged means you are busy acting out your unhappiness and your dispiritedness and spreading the virus around among whoever happens to be in the vicinity. You know, that's pretty compelling. In fact, if you were to translate the numbers in this Gallup study into a metaphor, I'll give you an example of what they would mean. It means that if you were a member of a rowing team out on a river, one of your teammates, that's roughly the 13% who are engaged, one of your teammates is rowing his or her heart out. 5 of them are just taking in the scenery. And 2 of them are actively trying to sink the boat. And, you know, and it's interesting to me that there was not a category in that Gallup study for actively engaged, i.e. passionate. There was not even a category for that in the study. What is that? There were not enough people in that category to make it statistically significant? Which would be significant all by itself, right? So, I'm going to end with this. The point of this being that if dispassion is contagious, so is passion. You just have to catch it first before you can spread it. All right? You have to embody it. You have to live it out. To whatever degree you're interested in sharing it with a community and inspiring a community. So I'm going to end with this. This is a little anecdote that comes from a Colombian novelist named Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Some of you may be familiar with 100 Years of Solitude, General in His Labyrinth, beautiful novels. He describes a man who is trying to solve the world's problems. Bless you. And his little boy comes running into the room and asks if he can help. And the man is touched by the boy's concern, but he's impatient to get on with it. So he takes a map of the world and he rips it into little tiny pieces and he hands it to the boy and says, here, you can help by piecing the world back together. The little boy has no conception of what the world looks like, but he takes the pile of scraps off to his room, and 2 days later, he comes running back in. He says, Father, I've put the world back together. And all the little pieces of paper have been very meticulously taped back together. And the father is stunned. And he says, how did you do that? And the little boy turns the paper over and says, well, on the back was a picture of a person. I put the person back together, and then I turned it over, and the world was back together. Isn't that just great anecdote? So in the spirit of helping to put ourselves back together, if not the world that we live in our own worlds, I just want to say that the workshop this afternoon is a very hands-on opportunity to explore where passion is showing up in your life and where it's disappearing. This is not lecture format. This is experiential, just so you know. So it'll give you a kind of a snapshot of the state of your own life force at the moment and what your vitality wants from you at this juncture. So what the question we're after is, what wants to emerge right now in your life? What is trying to happen? So I hope you'll come. And thank you guys for inviting me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was awesome. I got to hear Craig twice today, and both of them were completely different from the other, so thank you very much. And as I listened to both of them, I thought about Charles and his 12 powers, and one of those 12 powers is zeal. Yes? So as you do the workshop with Greg this morning, you're also going to be working on our spiritual power of zeal. So go for it. I mean it. Go for it. No, anyways. Our prayer chaplains are available after this service to provide a personal prayer support. If you are a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand so we can acknowledge you. Thank you. Whether you have a joy or a concern on your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up in consciousness. And now it's time for our prosperity celebration. Yeah. Speaking of zeal, let us open our hearts to the consciousness of giving as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, so shall we receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature. You say that with me? Abundance is our true nature. And so now, if you wish, we will say the blessing together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come, let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. So come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
If there's some kind of trouble that you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door right here, it's open for you.
is open to
It's
you.
open for you.
This door is open to you.
This door.
This door is open
This
to
door
you.
right here.
This door is open
I
to
said
you.
this door
This door
is open to you. So come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
The God in us who recognizes the God in you.
The God in you.
Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Pray together, love and belong.
From the bliss down to the turned out, to the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
The God in us who recognizes the God in you.
God in you.
Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door
is open
this
to
door
you.
right here
This door is open to
is
you.
open for
This
you.
door is open to you.
Oh, this door.
This door is open
This
to
door
you.
right here.
This door is open
This
to
door
you.
is open.
This door is open
It's
to
open to you
This
and
door
you
is
and you.
open
It's
to
open to
you.
you.
This door is open
I
to
said
you.
this door is open to you. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for blessing us with your music. Really awesome. Thanks. You got a great voice. Please come on up, ushers. And I almost forgot. If you haven't turned in your surveys, please do that. We would really welcome your opinions. So thank you. So let's bless our money. Cool. So get that energy flowing. And as we bless this offering, we bless the giver and the gift, that it may go forth and multiply and increase in the good in our lives and the lives of those we touch. And so it is. Thank you. Oh, we do an affirmation now. I am so glad you're here because I forgot all about it. So thanks for reminding me. Okay, so together, we give thanks for the ever-increasing, unceasing flow of absolute good in our lives now. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. We're so glad you joined us. Is there anything they want to share with us today? No? Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your beautifulness with us. We really appreciate it. So let's bless our young folk and our teachers. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. Thank you. And our prayer of protection, and it's got a little bit of a change to it, so please read the monitors. Thank you. And together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am present. Wherever we are, God is, and I am divine. And our song of protection. And please know you are, oh God, I knew I was going to blow it. Say it with me, please. You are the love, the light, and the peace in the earth right now. Let's light shine and have a blast.